What is up, everybody? Welcome back for another one of my Conan Exiles news update videos. I am the Great Stevo, and it has been a little while since I've done one of these. I've been kind of slacking off, just waiting for some of the insanity to die down on a few things, but I figured it's about time that I get one of these news update videos out to you guys on the current situation with everything going on with Conan Exiles since it has launched on the Xbox One for the early game preview program, and just another few things that I've picked up on and things that are going on in the Conan Exiles universe right now. And stay tuned for a little bit of a sneak peek at something toward the end of the video I'm pretty excited for. So if you're new to the channel and you like the content that I'm bringing to you guys, just go ahead and destroy that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn your notifications on so you know when I put these videos out for you guys. So since the launch of Conan Exiles on Xbox One's early game preview program, there has been some massive problems. Day one, there were a lot of people that could not play the game. They couldn't even open it up off of dashboard and start a game, not even in single player. A lot of this was because people had downloaded the trial version off of Xbox Store, and it ended up being a bad version that later on you could not open up and play. So some of the issues could have been resolved by deleting the game that you had installed in the trial version and re-downloading the new released full game preview version. But it didn't stop there. There was still other problems of people not being able to play without frequently being disconnected, and this has still been going on. There have been a few patches since launch that has fixed this, and it wasn't only happening on Xbox One, it was also happening on PC. But with Xbox and the game preview, it is different than Steam. When a game goes into game preview on Xbox, for any updates to be added, they have to go into a certification process that has to go through Microsoft. And anybody that's followed any other early access games on Xbox knows this is a bitch. The wait time is horrible. Now, for the first few patches, it takes longer because they're adding new stuff and they're just newly onto the Xbox. Microsoft puts them on a more of a slower, more quality assurance kind of thing. So once a few patches have been set up and have made it through certification, they will start to get fast tracked. But getting to that process takes a little bit of time. It takes a few patches. So far, I think it is up to 2 of their patches have already been submitted that have been turned down before. These are 2 different patches, by the way. One of their patches that they submitted, their very first patch in fact, failed Microsoft's certification process on the first try. So then they had to resubmit. They've had one other patch do the same thing, but they're learning. They're getting there. But there is still some massive plagues of server issues on Conan Exiles with the Xbox One version. They recently released an update last week that made it where you literally could not leave your base to go harvest or do anything, or you would be dashboarded. Now, when I say dashboarded, that means you are still in the game, but your console takes you to dashboard. Your body and everything still continues to move. If you're walking in an open field and you get dashboarded, your body continues to travel until you get back into the game. Now, when I say disconnect, that is a server thing. The server literally shuts itself off. No time elapses, nothing from the point the server shuts down. First, we had the problem with disconnects. Then we had the problems with dashboarding. Dashboarding was horrible after this last patch last week. Like I was saying, you couldn't do anything. You could not leave your base without the fear of dashboarding. But luckily they worked with G-Portal, and they did get a hot fix out for the servers that helped with the amount of dashboarding people were receiving. But sadly, the server disconnects is still there. And G-Portal has said that they are working with Funcom, and that this time it is a Funcom software problem that is causing the server disconnects that unfortunately G-Portal cannot help them with. We have to once wait again for the Microsoft certification process to be able to take and grab this server disconnect problem by the horns and deal with it. So sorry guys, that sucks. We are going to have to wait for the Microsoft certification process. But that is the current state right now. Some other things that have happened since is, if you have followed Conan Exiles at all, you have noticed that they did add in a new mechanic where when you were in battle you could not sprint and have your weapons at the same time. This is good, but it also had some bad things because it wasn't fully optimized for all scenarios with sprinting. Like, if you were in battle and you tried to run, they'd put up anything you were wielding. The only flaw to this was it didn't recognize your weapons or your non-weapons. An example of this is, say you were out mining something and you're in the middle of the night and you have a torch out or a pick out. When you started to run to go to another location to mine or harvest, it would sheath these things also, which in the middle of the night you do not want your torch to just go back into your inventory and you have to sit there on your wheel and try to bring it back out. Trust me, because it is true dark. There is no adjusting your gamma or anything. It is true dark. But luckily they are working on fixing that, where it recognizes the different scenarios of when you start to sprint, when to sheath and not sheath your weapons. An update on sprinting. It was put out the 19th, just a few days after the launch on Xbox, by the community manager Nicole. Greeting Exiles, we hope you've been enjoying the newest biome content and additions we've added with the Frozen Northern expansion. We've been reading your reports and listening to your feedback and want to thank you for taking the time to let us know what you think. Alright, so first of all, I bet when Joel Biolos read this, he was a little bit on edge about it, because he has stated several times that he does not like to call it a new biome, that it's a new region, new expansion. But you know, whatever. Anyways, it continues on to say, we will continue to make improvements to the optimization and addressing crashes on both PC and Xbox. The most recent hotfix has helped with the servers disappearing, which was a major issue in the beginning because it launched with servers not showing up or servers disappearing for days at a time. I personally experienced this on day one. We started off in a server, we got kicked out of the server and we went to search for it again and it never popped back up. So we went to another server and then over a day later it finally popped back up, the server that we originally started on. But luckily they have implemented patches since then that has corrected this to an extent. I personally haven't seen any servers disappearing except for when they actually disconnect, which happens. If it's not online, it can't show up that it's online. Moving on though, a hot topic that has been spoken about in Conan Exiles is the weapon sheathing when sprinting, what I was telling you guys a minute ago about. I want to start off talking about why this was implemented. We've explained previously that it was to help with lag jousting, in which players could use latency to win in combat. While this is an important reason, there is another that we want to highlight. Simply put, sprinting is the defining factor that differentiates between combat and not combat. When you enter combat, you immediately enter a different mindset from, say, harvesting resources. You focused on your enemy and the best way to attack opposing, picking up plants. You are fighting, and when you're not. However, putting away certain tools such as your torch when running blurs this distinction. We thought about this and are implementing changes. In the future, we will release several patches with these changes. So, the first set of patches that they're talking about right here, you will automatically sheath your weapon when sprinting, but you will automatically unsheath it when you stop sprinting. That works. When you attack while sprinting, you will trigger an auto wield and then stop sprinting. We will add an option for players to manually wield and unwield instead of it happening automatically. With this option, sprint will only work after you manually sheath your weapon, And then the fourth point being, we will make certain tools ignore this so you can use while sprinting, i.e. your torch, your pick, things like that. So there is one of their first patches and updates to the community just 3 days after it launched onto Xbox. So just 9 days after Xbox One's launched, Jens Erik put up a test live patch notes thread on Steam. And if you're not familiar with it, Test Live is the branch on PC servers that you can play on, that they put their patches out on first to check them to see how well they work with everybody else logging in and using the server before they push it to an actual official live server setting. So basically it's their unofficial QA process for, I want to say, kind of close to what Microsoft certification process is, except for not as long, depending on the feedback they get from the community that is playing on this test live server. All it was is the same thing that I just read to you previously, of when the sprinting and wielding improvements. Starting to sprint will automatically sheath your weapons. We refactored this system to make it depend on the character state instead of sprint keyboard / gamepad input. The benefits are subtle, but this change allowed us to improve the handling of sprint when combined with other states like jumping and climbing. Also, your weapons will auto-wield when you stop sprinting. You can override this behavior by sheathing your weapons manually with the wield / sheath button, default X on keyboards, Y on gamepads. If you are in the air when you stop sprinting, you will auto-wield when you land. You can continue sprinting after a jump by simply keeping down the sprint button. This works after landing from climbing and sliding as well. If you hold the sprint button, you won't try to auto-wield when you land. So that is some of the things that they went to on Test Live. Then 5 days after that, another hotfix. So see, these guys are coming out with these patches as quickly as they can. So the next one was 5 days after the last, and it was a hotfix for the sprinting that went and was pushed live to the servers on PC. So it was the same thing from the Test Live servers, but then they had a couple PSs down here at the end. It is still our intention to add an option where players can disable the automatic wield / sheath behavior entirely. With that option, your character won't be able to sprint unless you've wielded or unwielded your weapons by using the wield button. And then PPS, it is also our intention to treat certain tools differently than weapons so that they don't get put away when you sprint. And then so on again, PPPS, we are looking into ways to show which weapons you have sheathed. Alright, so this is a few days old, just about a couple days, not much at all. But this is a list of some of the known issues that they have. I know it's not all of them, but at the time this is the ones that they are trying to focus on mainly. So they are listening to the community, guys. There's no reason to be going crazy on the forums with toxic, or not just the forums, Twitter too. Jesus Christ. Let's lay off some of the toxicity on Twitter. I have to take ibuprofen before I go and read through any comments on Twitter because it's just so toxic. But I mean, a lot of people aren't getting it is an early access game. If you remember when you purchased this game, you've seen this screen right here. And let me just read it out again. You have chosen to join us on this game preview adventure. Thank you. This game is in a pre-release stage of development. People. This means that some parts of the game, including Xbox Live features like chat and multiplayer, may not function as expected or might not function at all, which it has had that day one release issue right there. The game might even crash. Yes, it will most definitely crash. I have not seen a early access game that doesn't crash. I've not seen an actual released game that does not crash at some point. Anyways, Microsoft and the publisher do not commit to providing customer support for the game. But even though this line is in here, they do. They still provide customer support for us. They don't have to, but they do. Your cross awaits, Exile. So this is the message everybody gets. And personally, I think they should take the press A to continue button or the click to continue button with the mouse out and let everybody, and put this on a timer. Make everybody sit there for at least 30 to 45 seconds to read this, so that they cannot say that they haven't seen it or they've just skipped it, and that way everybody has seen this. But I'm getting off track and I don't want to start ranting, so we are going to go on from this. Just remember, guys, toxicity doesn't make them work faster. But anyways, to every person their own. I can't tell you how to take and deal with an early access game. That's completely up to you. Just remember you did sign on for it when you bought it. But moving on from that, let's not get stuck on that. So at the moment, the current state of Conan Exiles for Xbox is that the dashboarding is a little bit better. It does not happen as often as it used to. Now, server disconnecting is another issue though. It does happen quite frequently, but like I said, it is more manageable to deal with that than dashboarding, because during a server disconnect, the whole server shuts down. You don't have to worry about dying. You don't have to worry about being attacked by somebody else that didn't get dashboard. Everybody is kicked out of the server. That is a little bit more easier to deal with than being dashboarded. But at the same time, I understand the frustration everybody is getting of the frequent server disconnects. I hate it too. Usually it happens to me right when I'm going into a Thrall City, picked up some good gear, some good loot, and then I get dashboarded and I have to sit and wait a good 5 minutes for the server to pop back up so that I can actually get into the server. But I understand that it is an early access game. It has only been out, guys, for 3 weeks. This week will be 3 weeks that it's been out. So there's still a lot of room for improvement. A lot of room. And I think that they will get there. So I'm not going to hop on the bandwagon just yet to start getting pitchforks and torches ready to go crucify these guys, because they are, at the end of the day, just human like the rest of us, trying to make this video game work for us. So at this moment, I am not jumping on the pitchfork and torch wagon. But I'm not a fanboy. If it doesn't get better, you can expect full on crazy shit from my side. Because even though I know it's an early access game, there are certain stages that they should be able to get to and overcome. And the longer that they are in early access, you know, the better they should be getting at it. I understand that when you fix something else and add something else, it could bring up another bug, but at the same time, I understand the player's perspective and the developer's perspective, so I know some of the things I say conflict with each other, but that's just who I am. I'm a conflicting personality type of person, if that's a thing. But that's it. So, like I said to you guys at the beginning, if you stuck around to the end, I had some juicy information for you guys that I have just seen today. I was going through tweets, and an hour ago, Funcom is already planning another Conan title after Conan Exiles releases into a full released game in the 2018. So when you click on this right here, it brings up this, and apparently nobody read what it said. Well, a lot of people did not take into consideration Funcom is got multiple people and working on multiple titles. Now, having multiple people, they are divided up into, you know, certain games, so certain games may have less people than the others. But like, they are currently working on 2 games right now. They are working on Conan Exiles, which is what we've got on PC and Xbox, and later on will be on PS4 in early quarter of 2018. Second title is being developed by the team in North Carolina, I think that place is, and it is the Secret World Legends. So they are currently working on 2 titles, and basically all they stated was after they were done with Conan Exiles, the Oslo team that is working on Conan Exiles, they will begin this production on another Conan title. But they're not taking away from the development staffing or team or anything right now to do it. And they plan on supporting Conan Exiles even after they full launch in 2018. So Conan Exiles is not getting forgotten about. They are working on it. They will get there. But I will read to you exactly what this article says about this. Funcom are planning to make another game using the Conan the Barbarian IP. According to their latest quarterly report, it is planned to enter pre-production in early 2018 as the Funcom Oslo team shift focus from Conan Exiles. Not forget, they're still going to be offering support for Conan Exiles. And I'll show you the tweet on that later. This decision to make another game with the Conan license came after Conan Exiles becoming the company's biggest earner during the second quarter of 2017. With positive reception to its Frozen North expansion and a full launch planned in early 2018, it seems that Funcom wants to ride out the Conan wave with another project featuring the famous barbarian. It is uncertain at this time as to the form of this new game, but it will be made by the Funcom team up in Oslo. As for the Funcom team in North Carolina, their new project is dependent on the performance of Secret World Legends, which I was telling you about a minute ago, as well as hiring of additional staff to work on this project. On top of these two games, Funcom are also planning to release a tactical turn-based strategy game in 2018 with the help of a company called Bearded Dragons International. When looking into Bearded Dragons International, the only thing that was readily available are press releases from Funcom back in June, as well as the information of a company registered in Cyprus. We should find out more about this project later this year, so keep your eyes peeled. According to the quarterly report, these projects are part of Funcom's new strategy of releasing multiple games a year to increase the company's portfolio. There is also a Secret World TV show currently in pre-production as well. So I want to see how that is, because I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to Secret World, but from what I have seen, it does look pretty fun. I just haven't gave it the time to try it. It is free on Steam the last time I checked. I just haven't gotten around to it, but hopefully I'm going to get my schedule down a little bit better to be able to do that. If we go into the tweets right here, the one that they've actually put this on to clarify, we're planning another Conan game, but full production won't start until after Conan Exiles. And then the next one after this, I'm sure they were replying to somebody's comment about it. Full production won't start until after Conan Exiles. No resources will be pulled from Exiles. And then later on, some more mounts. And I've got 19 new tweets, but let's not do that during this video. I will look into these, and then maybe it'll be my next video that I put something in. But this is running into quite a long news update video, and I don't like to do that to you guys. So I am going to wrap it up with this. Give them some time, guys. Give them just a little bit more time. Give them a little bit patience. Just check out their Twitter feeds. They do have Reddit feeds and everything else. Give them positive feedback. Let them know what's wrong with the game, but do it in a manner that's not toxicating. Just be civil. Yes, it's frustrating to have a game that doesn't work, but it's even more frustrating as a developer to get toxic vibes about something they are trying to work on. So with all that said, I will be putting out more videos for updates. I will try to do them a little bit sooner than this one. This was quite a few days in between my last one. I've been trying to get some tutorials out for Conan Exiles. I'm starting up Ark again now that it is fully released on console with Ragnarok. So yeah, I'm trying to get all this stuff lined out. So just bear with me, guys. Just check out all my content, and like I said, just go down there and destroy that subscribe button. That way you know when I put out these videos, and I will see you guys in the next one.